Speaking of money, so like I know y'all don't watch the UFC, right? But
Yeah.
the champion, that nigga named Aljamain Sterling, his best friend and training partner, was number three ranked. He became number one after this last weekend. The nigga that became number one said, "I'm never gonna fight him. That's my friend." Right now,
Mhm.
my question is, how much money would it take to get y'all to fight y'all friend? Right? Because to me, that sounds crazy. Like y'all fighters, right? Like it's
Mhm.
like go fight, the winner buy dinner and some drinks afterwards, bro, and y'all
What
go
is the
back to being friends, huh?
what is the average price of a fight that like they make on a fight?
So champions get more, right? So the champion get like a set amount, whether it's like 500 grand or whatever. Then they get a percentage of the pay per views. So like it could be let's say it's $700,000
Hell,
average.
yeah, fighting you, nigga.
One of us got the championship though, right? So we
Yeah,
essentially we got UFC by the balls.
no, you
Yeah.
don't,
We don't.
nigga. They just cut Francis. Like he was the heavyweight champion.
Hey, they cut him as the champion.
Yeah, and so John
Oh,
Jones just won the heavyweight title. Them niggas is like, this is what we offering. So take it or buy, nigga. Like, which,
oh, is that the one that they didn't want to give him health care?
yeah, he's trying to fight
Oh,
Wilder now. So,
that's interesting. That changes my answer because initially I was gonna say it would need to be enough where this could be our last fight type
mm,
joint. Where it's kind of like me and you scheming on like, okay, how can we, what number do we need where we could walk away from this forever? They
yeah,
could have a belt, you know what I'm saying? We don't got to do this no more.
yeah,
But it sounds like we don't have as much power as I was thinking we do. So,
yeah. And which that's a good business model by the UFC. Like they not making anyone bigger than the brand. But like
mhm.
it's also kind of not fair to like the niggas that's literally putting their body and health on the line
Yeah, I'm not gonna fight my friend.
for
I'll
I'm
fight you.
not, I'm not gonna fight my friend.
for
I'll
no
fight you.
amount.
Nah, because I could potentially damage them forever.
Yeah,
You feel what I'm saying? Like,
but
I
I
mean,
mean,
and vice versa. I'm not saying like,
yeah.
but I'm just saying like,
But
would that money be worth them never being healthy again?
you don't have to put your all into the fight. You can
Ooh,
play around. You still got the money.
you
You
gonna get
still
knocked
get
Nah,
out,
they'll
nigga.
murder. I think they'll murder you if you try to rig the fight.
Hey, and actually, some niggas was rigging, bruh. So like, there's this coach in the UFC, right? This nigga was having niggas on his team fight injured, right? So like, knowing that, he would go tell people, "Yo, put your money on this nigga," because like they would not report the injury, so like no one would
Hmm.
know, and they would still be like the favorite. So like the
Hmm.
nigga would have niggas bet on the underdog and
Hmm.
cash in, bro. Like, and speaking of that, do y'all feel like sports are rigged?
I
no.
will know better if they let people bet on wrestling. If they let people
Yeah.
bet on WWE, I would believe it's rigged.
I thought that shit was fake when you posted that shit in the group. I thought that was like a parody account, but that's really happening, bro.
Hmm.
That's insane, bro.
Yeah, that's crazy to me.
Like,
I mean, it wouldn't, and I think when people think of rigged, they think of scripted.
yeah,
They think of when the people think of rigged, they think of wrestling. But so they say you can't do that with the NFL. How did they know he was going to catch the ball with his helmet? They're not practicing this, but you can rig games based on penalties, time,
yeah,
all kinds of stuff. They could do all kinds of stuff to rig these games to go in the favor that they all they needed to do is go in a certain direction,
it,
and they could just push them into that direction. So I'm hoping, I maybe I'm a hater, but I'm hoping that the WWE doesn't
yeah.
do
That
that
shit,
because I would lose faith in all sports,
bro. And
honestly.
all they got to do is really control the points, nigga. Like, all the money's on like
Exactly.
a point spread, bro. And I didn't bring this up when it happened because this shit kind of went in my favor. I was cheering for the Chiefs, but like, do you remember we was talking about that holding call right on
Hmm.
Juju? Now Blur said he didn't see it. It shouldn't have happened. And And I say it was, right? But if they never called that penalty, is anyone saying the NFL is like, is anyone up in arms about it? They just like, nah, like let them play, right?
Hmm.
That's like the rules say if they do, like stop this nigga from doing his route, it should be a hold. So it shouldn't be, oh, we just let him play here. It should be called every time, and it's
Exactly.
not, bruh. The
That
same,
doesn't that doesn't happen, and I also don't mean it's red because it doesn't happen.
but if the rules say, go ahead.
Sometimes they just let them play. No, the rule you have the rules, but it's your job to whether you want to enforce it or not.
That's not how rules work.
Hey,
Yeah, I mean, if you miss the call, then that's one thing. You missed the call, but we got all this technology now. That stuff can be reviewed and reset. But if you deliberately but like you said, I believe every time if something happens, it should be called. But they say that will slow the game down too much because of the holding and all of this stuff. Well, then change that rule. If y'all
Yeah,
don't want to stop the clock every time it's holding is called, then y'all need to change the stipulation of what holding is. But nah.
with the rule thing, I mean, it's the same thing as working at a job. People break rules all the time, but don't get fired right away.
but
So
they still
come
broke
on,
a rule.
And
but I'm
there's
just
still a
saying,
penalty for breaking that rule.
Yeah,
and that's, but you don't get a penalty every time at a job for breaking a rule. You don't get fired, and things don't happen all the time when you break a rule.
like, bruh,
Sometimes stuff won't happen.
if I go rob a bank, the cop not gonna say, "Oh, we'll let you rob it this time, nigga." I'm gonna get the
Well, I
next
mean,
one though.
but you just throwing out something that's like extraordinary, like some extreme crap. Like I was comparing football rules, a job to another job. Not you going to rob a bank.
Okay, nigga, basketball. It's the same shit. Like a foul is if you hit somebody. They don't call
Yeah,
every foul though. There shouldn't
because
be a rule then,
if they did, it would slow down the game.
bruh. That shit. It shouldn't be on someone's discretion whether or not that's the rule. Like if it
But
happens, it should be called. Like what?
think about basketball. You're running up and down the court. You're playing a man. There's going to be a foul every minute or second, and you think it should be called?
Call it.
Yeah,
No,
and keep a running clock.
no.
If
Yeah,
y'all worried about how
yeah.
long the game gonna be, keep a running clock.
And they only foul every play because they know they're not gonna call it. The same with carrying, bruh. Like niggas carry all the time. Niggas travel all the time. They never call it. Why? Like, you know what I'm saying?
Lane violations on free throws, they be doing that all the
All
time.
the time, bro.
Don't call it.
And y'all right. I think some rules, especially like the carry rule, I think they just don't give a crap about no more. And you're right. They with that rule, they probably should take it out because that literally doesn't get called no more. And
Yeah.
I see them carry all the time.
But the thing is, when the fourth quarter comes, you start seeing more fouls until they get close, right? You start seeing more fouls. And why is that? Is a team down and you need them to get back in it? Like, I don't know, man. Like,
Imagine if they called all the fouls, you kept a running clock, and you kept your foul rules the same.
yeah,
The game would change.
yeah.
The game would change,
And
and like folks would be in a bonus 4 minutes into the first quarter. Like it'd be 8 minutes left in the first quarter. They'd be in a bonus,
yeah,
and then
Exactly.
that's yeah, and you put yourself in that hole.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah, but then the fans not going to watch that crap. Now you're not making money. No one's going to watch the game if that happening.
We'll still
Like
bruh,
watch.
people still watching baseball. They're
Yeah,
gonna watch it.
we'll still
Like,
watch.
I wouldn't. I'm not. Y'all don't even watch it now. What you talking about?
I watch in the
yeah,
playoffs.
I just asked y'all, do y'all watch the
that's true.
game? Y'all told me no. Y'all watch the playoffs.
I
Like
seen like 6 games this year.
I'm the one watching the games.
Yeah, and bruh, player. That's another thing. Players adjust, bruh. Like there wasn't a 3-point line, right? And now niggas shooting threes all the time, right? Every position is shooting threes. That shit used to be unheard of centers. Niggas adjust their game, bruh. If you start
But
calling every foul, niggas won't foul every play, bruh. Like,
but understand, okay, you call every little foul and they adjust their game. Now there's no defense. Everybody's scoring.
no, it's
The
still
defense.
defense.
Man, how you gonna play defense without even touching somebody? Sometimes You're gonna get there's gonna be a foul every time you touch somebody. Matter of fact, all the games gonna be forfeit because everybody gonna get 6 fouls and they can be done. All the games gonna be forfeited.
Or maybe they go back to letting you hand check. I don't know. You never know.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
So they don't have to. So they don't have to call as many. They might change the severity of the foul. Like, okay, this is a foul. This is not a foul. Like
and
they have to. They have to draw clear lines.
because bro, look at Shaq, bro. That nigga got fouled every time he got the ball. He got fouled. Huh?
Of course. Of
And,
course.
and the nigga should have been shooting 30 free throws a game, but he wasn't. Like, so why is it that this ref can say, I don't think that's a foul because you bigger and stronger than him?
I mean, I somewhat agree. No, because if it was my favorite player, you need to call that foul every time. Every time you get touched, you need to be blowing that whistle. So I do agree on some extents, but I just don't agree with how it would slow down the game. Like, just slow it down.
I think niggas would adjust, but yeah. And even the Mahomes, if you remember the AFC Championship game when he pushed Mahomes out of bounds, like, would niggas have been mad if they didn't call that?
Yeah, I would have been mad if they didn't call that. That was a straight late hit.
Okay,
He was already going out of bounds.
he was going out of bounds, but he pushed him. It ain't like he tackled this nigga viciously. He pushed him out of bounds. Like, we've seen them let niggas play. Like, we've seen that not called before.
On quarterbacks?
On quarterbacks, nigga. They're running. They're not quarterbacks anymore, nigga. They running.
All I'm saying is, if a nigga outside push you when you going out of bounds, you gonna be ready to fight, right?
Hey, I'm just
Bro,
saying.
I'm already out of bounds. Why you hit me? You square up. Get to the hand. That's how it's gonna be.
Man, he'll change, man. Why you keep bringing up that man pass?
No, I'm saying period. Like, I don't understand. I'm going out of bounds and you push me and I fall. If I don't fall, then I ain't gonna make a big deal about it. But if I fall, nah.
I feel like that was good acting too by Mahomes. So, like, he could have not failed.
Everybody flops.
Yeah,
That's what it is.
But if it wasn't for that penalty, they wouldn't have gotten in field goal range. All right.
Yeah.
So I think, and bro, I used to have. Do you remember? It was a nigga that was like, the mob runs the NBA. You remember that?
Mm-hmm.
So,
I remember, yeah.
And I used to be like, man, you dumb as shit, nigga. Like, what the fuck? But like, it don't. I used to be like, oh, it takes so much. Like, the players will have to be involved in it, and the coaches and the referees.
No,
but it
really?
don't. Yeah.
Right. Have y'all watched they got one on Netflix, a documentary about the referee that was throwing games in the NBA. Have y'all watched it?
I know his name, but I haven't watched. What's the name of the doc?
Okay, I don't even know. Okay. But please watch that. I mean, it's so insightful. And it got the mob in and everything. You're right.
Wow.
Like, they was betting on these games off of just, like you was explaining before, off of the small things, like not calling a foul or calling a foul, or referee knowing that a player is injured today and that they won't be playing. Yeah. It was so much, man. It was so much.
Yeah, definitely send that. I want to see that.
I want to see that shit. And kind of the same thing happened. Y'all know Jaren Jackson from the Grizzlies?
Mm-hmm.
So the odds for him, what'd you say?
Center.
Yeah.
Now, Dion was like, he didn't know, but the center.
The center, yeah. So the odds for him winning Defensive Player of the Year at the beginning of the season was like, it was like plus 1,000 or some shit, right? Now, if you look at his stats, they're good. But if you look closer, right? So like his home stats is like double his away stats. Like majority of his blocks came at home. Majority of his steals came at home. Like, and there's a nigga on YouTube analyzing the video, right? So like a nigga will go into the lane and like maybe lose the ball. They'll give Jaren Jackson a block. Like, or like a nigga drive and it's two Grizzlies there contesting the shot. And if it's close, they give the block to Jaren Jackson. Like, you know what I'm saying? So it's shit like that. Like, and how did they even know to look at that? You know what I'm saying? Like, because this shit, it's prop bets every night. Like, it's such and such going to have 3 fouls or more. It's such and such going to have this many turnovers. Like, it's not like that shit ain't that crazy, bro. Like, but
it's not.
Yeah. The world we live in, man. That shit's it's fake. All of it. It's the Matrix. Man.
Crazy.
Because man, that green,
You either playing or getting played.
Yeah.
that green,
Yeah.
that green.
But
I ain't talking about the Hulk.